Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening or watching the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY. And for this one, we shall go back to February 1983 for this X-Men Special Edition number 1. So I remember when I first got this issue, and it was just, I saw it at the store, and $2. That was a lot at that time, but I figured, oh, this is so cool. The X-Men. This is, really before the X-Men got really super popular, but for me, I just saw was that all that caught my attention was the number one, and I'm like, as a kid, you just think, ooh, first issue, this is probably going to be worth a lot someday. No, in this case, this is more of a way, because as X-Men started to gain popularity, people were wondering, who are these new X-Men characters? So before we begin, let's talk about who was responsible for this issue. So writer and editor was Len Wein, illustrator was Dave Cockrum, letterer was John Costanza, and the colorist was Glynis Wein. So back in 1975, with the release of Giant Size X-Men issue number 1, it was no doubt one of the most important comic book releases in Marvel history. It's also one of the most sought out comic books from the 70s that people just want to get their hands on, because it was the first appearance of Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm, Banshee, and what's the other person? Thunderbird. That's it. And also Sunfire. But no, it wasn't Banshee. It was mainly the new members were Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Thunderbird, and Sunfire. Yeah, those were the ones. But anyway, as many people who read the pages of the Uncanny X-Men, and you follow the adventures of Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Angel, Beast, and Iceman under the tutelage of Professor X. I think Marvel knew that no one could afford the giant-size X-Men, because it was just way popular, and there were never reprints made of those issues. That was until February 1983. So that's like, 8 years later, right? So X-Men Special Edition Volume 1, Issue 1 is a reprint of Giant Size X-Men, but this time it's printed on better paper, and in addition would include 12 new pages by Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum, featuring Kitty Pryde giving Illyana Rasputin a tour of the X-Mansion, not knowing what surprises ahead of her. The issue begins with Professor X trying to recruit new members to join his mission for mutants to use their special abilities, to protect humankind, despite having to deal with prejudice and other tensions because they are mutants. In Winseldorf, Germany, Kurt Wagner was treated as a carnival freak, and he does not want to be one no longer, and is attacked by villagers who think he's a monster. In Quebec, Canada, Wolverine is a special agent for a special governmental agency. In Nashville, Tennessee, Banshee receives an invitation from Professor X. In Kenya, East Africa, many go to visit Ororo, a great goddess of storm, but Professor X arrives and tells her that she is not a goddess, but a mutant. In Osaka, Japan, Professor X tries to get Shiro Yoshida to join, despite him hating Westerners. In Late Baikal, Siberia, Professor X goes to recruit Peter Rasputin, who can turn into steel. And in Camp Verde, Arizona, Professor X goes to recruit John Proudstar, who dislikes the white man. But when Professor X says that perhaps that the saying that the Apache are frightened, selfish children, that is enough for Proudstar to want to prove that he's wrong. The group receives codenames from Professor X and new costumes. He introduces them to Cyclops, who informs them that they want to investigate the island of Krakoa, and the X-Men have disappeared. And when he woke up, he had lost his powers and was set on a jet to go back home. He now needs the help of these new mutants to help go back to Krakoa to find the original X-Men, but to also defeat the mutants that defeated them. Unfortunately, relations between the new mutants within these newer mutants are not going well, but perhaps working as a team may become an icebreaker for them to work together. for the most part. It was an interesting storyline. I can remember when I first read it, when Cyclops and Wolverine always got on each other's nerves. In this issue, the main person, who is not exactly a team player, was Yoshida, Sunfire. Thunderbird was always cocky, but each proved to be a good team member. Although the issue showed us how Scott, Cyclops, and Alex Summers Havoc were brothers who had different points of view, especially when Alex's loved one, Polaris, may be killed, it was an interesting storyline. The second story, also included in this reprint, again, is this 11-page brand new tale in regards to Kitty Pryde, showing Illyana Rasputin around, visiting the rooms of various members, but a secret awaits their end. Awaits her at the end, actually. It's a big surprise. Overall, I can remember purchasing this child and loving it. I didn't care if it was a reprint. I treasured this one like gold, and I would try to draw each of the new members. That's how much I loved David Cockrum's artwork. Today was the first time I read this issue since in many years, and no doubt it was nostalgic, but it was also awesome to read again. So definitely check it out. Again, if there's, for a lot of people, I know the Giant Size X-Men issue #1 is way too expensive for most people to afford. But if you can search out the special edition #1 of the X-Men, you definitely will get that. You will definitely get that issue on better paper. Granted, it's been many years since this one has been released, but definitely check it out. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Okay, everyone, take care, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.